Good afternoon. I am Angel Salvadora, your first discussant for today's discussion. Today, we are going to tackle the continuation of the lesson in Unit 5, Learner-Centered Lesson Plans. B. Instructional learning process as well as the lesson chunking and micro-teaching basics. So first, let us know what is content. So content refers to the information, material, or substance that is presented or communicated to convey a message or provide knowledge. It can take various forms such as text, images, videos, audio recordings, or interactive elements. So content is created and shared in different contexts, including educational settings, media platforms, websites, books, and more. In the context of education, content refers to the subject matter or specific knowledge that is being taught or learned. It can encompass topics, concepts, facts, theories, skills, or any information that is relevant to a particular subject or discipline. For example, in a science class, content may include information about the properties of a matter, the laws of motion, or the principles of genetics. Content plays a crucial role in learning as it provides the substance and foundation for acquiring knowledge and understanding. It serves as the vehicle through which educational objectives are achieved and learning outcomes are attained. Effective instructional content is well organized, coherent, accurate, and also it is appropriately tailored to the learner's needs and abilities. In the digital age, content has gained even more prominence with the proliferation of online platforms, social media, and multimedia resources. Content creation and consumption have become more accessible to a wider audience, offering opportunities for interactive learning, collaboration, and engagement. So furthermore, content can be categorized into different types, including textual context, like articles, books, and or essays. So, other visual content such as images, infographics, or charts. Also, audio content such as podcast or recorded lectures, and also the multimedia content such as videos or interactive simulations. Next, we have the lesson plan. So, what do we mean by a lesson plan? A lesson plan is a teacher's daily guide for what students need to learn. So, how it will be taught and how learning will be measured. Lesson plans help teachers to be more effective in the classroom by providing a detailed outline to follow each class period. So, in this, we know that a lesson plan is a detailed outline or guide that teachers use to structure and organize their instructional activities for a specific lesson or unit of study. So, it is their roadmap that helps teachers clarify their objectives, determine the content and resources they needed, and also the outline the sequence of instructional activities to be implemented in order to achieve the desired learning outcomes. So in this, lesson plan serves as a blueprint for effective teaching by providing structure, coherence, and alignment to the instructional process. They help the teachers organize their thoughts, ensure a logical flow or content delivery, and facilitate meaningful student engagement and learning. However, we we need to know, and it's important to note that lesson plans should be flexible and adaptable, also based on the student's needs and ongoing formative assessment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sheila Ramboyong, your next discussant. So, in the lesson planning, there are stages that teachers need to consider. The first one is pre planning, second is the implementation plan, and lastly, the evaluation. So, when we say pre planning, it is the stage of lesson planning that focuses on making decisions about what directions the lesson will go in, based on student needs, requirements, curriculum, and any other influences that may be at work in the classroom. It is a crucial step that helps teachers think about the essential components of the lesson, such as the learning task, assessment, background knowledge required for students, necessary vocabulary, and instructional strategies to increase student engagement. This stage also involves thinking about the most important concepts, ideas, or skills that students need to grasp and apply, as well as how they will demonstrate mastery of the learning objectives. Pre planning is essential for effective lesson planning as it allows teachers to think backward to move forward and consider what they want their student to produce at the end of the lesson to show mastery of the skill or standard. It is a process that supports teachers in grounding the lesson in its larger context and provides a way to make their thinking visible to students, colleagues, and as well as to their supervisors. The next is the implementation plan. Implementation plan in lesson planning is a strategy that outlines the steps and actions required to effectively deliver a lesson or instructional unit. It helps teachers organize and execute their teaching goals, ensuring a smooth and well structured learning experience for their students. The implementation plan serves as a roadmap for the teachers to follow. It ensures that the instructional goals are effectively communicated and achieved. An implementation plan helps teachers to be more efficient and effective in their teaching by providing a detailed plan for each phase of the lesson. It allows for flexibility and adjustment based on student needs and classroom dynamics. By having a well structured implementation plan, teachers can ensure that they are using their time and the resources effectively and that they are providing a high quality learning experience for their students. Additionally, an implementation plan can help teachers to identify potential challenges or obstacles that may arise during the lesson and develop strategies to address them. This can help to minimize disruptions and ensure that the lesson runs smoothly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonelyn L. Rigaspi from BSE 3F. Evaluation is the collection of analysis and interpretation of information about any aspect of a program of education or training as part of recognized process of judging its effectiveness, its efficiency, and any other outcomes it may have. Our evaluations tell us that participants leave micro-teaching with a clearer and more positive sense of their teaching. Lesson chunking and micro-teaching basics. Basics concepts. Micro-teaching is a teacher training technique for learning skills. It employs real teaching situation for development skills and help to get deeper knowledge regarding the art of teaching. The Stanford technique involved the steps of plan, teach, observe, replan, reteach, and reobserve. Effective student teaching should be the prime quality of a teacher. As an innovative method of equipping teachers to be effective, skills and practices of micro teaching have been implemented. The goal of each micro teaching activity is to provide you an opportunity to design and facilitate a lesson using a specific method of instruction covered in class.
Now, let's move on to the rationale behind chunking as an instructional approach and the key considerations for its preparation. But before that, what exactly is chunking? Well, chunking is a strategy that involves breaking down a challenging text into more manageable pieces or chunks. Through this, students can be better grasp the content and write it in their own words. And this technique can be applied to text of any length, be it in a paragraph, a few pages, or even longer pieces. So, the rationale behind using chunking is to assist students in identifying keywords and ideas within the text. By breaking it down, students can develop their ability to paraphrase and make it easier for them to organize and synthesize information. Now, let's move on to the procedure. So, in the preparation phase of the chunking procedure, it says here that you can apply the strategy to challenging text of any length. For shorter text, like paragraphs, you can break them down into phrases and sentences. And for longer readings spanning several pages, it can be done by dividing them into paragraphs or sections. And to support students in organizing their understanding, it is helpful to provide them with a graphic organizer. And this tool will help them to record important information about each chunk, and it is recommended to prepare it ahead of time.
Review reading strategies. Reading is a fundamental skill that plays a crucial role in acquiring knowledge and understanding the world around us. Reading strategies are techniques and approaches that individuals use to enhance their comprehension, efficiency, and effectiveness while reading. However, simply scanning words on a page is not enough to fully comprehend and retain information. To become effective readers, we need to employ various strategies that enhance comprehension, promote critical thinking, and facilitate meaningful um, learning experiences. So, here are some strategies. Before having students work on paraphrasing the text, it is helpful to go over specific decoding strategies. You may want to post the following reading reminders on the board. Circle words that are unfamiliar. Next, use context clues to help define these words. Third is look up the meaning of the unknown words. Next is write synonyms for these new words in the text. Underline important places and people and identify them. The next is read aloud. And the last is read multiple times. By employing these strategies, we can become more proficient readers, extracting meaning and gaining valuable insight from the text we encounter. As we continue to develop and refine our reading skills, these strategies will serve as invaluable tools in our pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Remember that different reading strategies work better for different types of texts and purposes. It's important to adjust and select strategies based on the nature of the material and your specific goals as a reader. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day, Sir Attorney Salvador Pilingon and everyone. I am Rachel Ann Orsini from BSED 3F. My topic to be discussed is about chunk text. Chunk text simply means breaking the text down into smaller parts sometimes. Teachers chunk the text in advance for students, especially if this is the first time students use this strategy. Sometimes teacher asks students to chunk the text. Students can work on chunking text with partners or on their own, depending on students' level. The length of chunks can vary. A struggling reader may work with phrases rather than sentences. A stronger reader can often work with longer chunks. Chunking text refers to the breaking down the large piece of information into smaller, manageable units or chunks. This helps improve understanding and retention. Chunking involves organizing information based on patterns, themes, or relationships, making it easier for the brain to process and remember. It's a cognitive strategy that enhances learning and comprehension.
This principle is the principle of one skill at a time. Skills in microteaching are targeted one at a time. Training on particular skills are given until it is mastered. Once mastered, another skill is targeted next. So in this principle is really visible to those people who is very passionate on achieving their dreams. But but by achieving that, you need to focus on your goals. Like you wanted to try dancing, then welcome yourself in the world of dance and start practicing. And by practicing, you can achieve the dance smoothly and properly. And next, you can practice again to make it perfect. And it is just like in teaching. We, as the future educator, one of the skills we are focused to be mastered is the communication skills. Because teachers are practiced to be presented well and has the communication skills. And in this journey as a educator student, this is the kind of training we need to focus on. You know, we have demo teaching and like in the research, and we need to present it, and it is like our training to master that skills. Because if we want to learn something, we don't need to rush ourselves to learn that or to master that. But we all need to do is to be focused.
The second principle underlying microteaching is the principle of limited contents. In microteaching, limited contents are taken up, and the teacher is required to use those contents only. It helps the beginning teacher teach that limited materials easily and confidently. In small-scale content, there are many steps of microteaching that teachers must be aware of. When content is limited, it gives teacher more ease and freedom. Also, limiting the content gives more freedom and ease especially to the trainees. Thus, micro-teaching is based upon the principle of limited contents. Teachers are expected to prepare their lesson within or based on the given content. Therefore, it becomes more easier for them to teach or conduct their lessons.
Good day everyone, I'm Christine Maybe Dupasio from 3F and this is the continuations, the principles of practice. Micro teaching is based on the sound principle practice. Here a lot of practice is given by making up on skills at a time. Practice makes more perfect and also it helps the student teachers in becoming a better and a better. It means it is about making teachers able to master one specific skill through practicing. The principles of practice, it means if you have an idea and if you have done in a specific way, you need to practice of what you have done or implement the idea of your teaching or lessons to most easily understand the students or the flow of the discussion or your teachings. It must be good or better. So that the result or outcomes may differ from what's intended in principle. So dito sa principles of practice ay if yung teacher ay magtuturo and if yung estudyante na ay magre-report ay kailangan ay practice practice yung yung gagawin na content dapat ay mastered yun para maganda yung flow ng lesson or yung teaching. Makikita naman kasi if yung teacher o yung estudyante ay mastered yung lesson if yung boses or yung flow ng lessons ay maganda ang resulta. And yun po, and that's all.
Principle of experimentation. Principle of experimentation. The pupil, teacher, and the supervisor conduct experiment on teaching skills under controlled conditions. Variable like time duration of the lesson, content of the lesson to be taught, number of students sitting in the class that can be easily controlled. This principle of experimentation and is an experimentation on teaching skills by the pupil teacher. So, what is mean by teaching skills? Teaching skills is the ability to increase student learning achievement, ability to apply knowledge, effectively convey and explain academic subject matter, effectively teach higher order analytical evaluation, and have the ability or skills on problem solving and communication skills. And we have here the examples of teaching skills. We have patience, creativity, classroom management, at marami pang iba. Under principle of experimentation, the pupil teacher conduct various experiments to further develop his teaching skills. For example, using your creativity, you will create interactive activities that will catch the attention of your student but must be aligned to the given variables that your activity should be connected to your lesson, how long it will be, or will the time consumption will be long, and lastly, it is correct to the number of students you need in your activity. Say it's a group activity but you have only one student.
Principle of immediate feedback. The micro lesson lasts for 4 or 5 minutes only. Thereafter, feedback is provided to the pupil to teacher. It helps the pupil teacher to know his drawback and improve them effectively without any delay. Immediate feedback helps us determine the degree to which our goal is being met and how we are progressing. Without feedback, it is difficult to determine the effectiveness of our goal, achieving strategies, and whether a different method should be adopted. Like for example, small-scale exercise can have a big-scale impact on the way you perceive your goals and the road to get there. Understanding the importance of how to set a goal at achievable goals paves the way for your success. Meron itong malaking impact sa paraang mapaperceive mo yung goals mo at ang daan para makapunta sa karoroonan. Kapag naiintindihan daw ang kalagahan kung paano maabot ang adikahin sa buhay, ay mapapadali ang pag-abot ng inyong tagumpay.
Principle of evaluation. In micro-teaching, each micro-lesson is supervised by the supervisor or the peers. Drawback in teaching are pointed out and suggestion for improvement is given. Self-evaluation is also possible. Thus, evaluation ensures good learning by the pupil teacher. The principle of evaluation is a systematic and objective process of assessing or judging the value, effectiveness, or quality of something. It involves gathering and analyzing information, comparing it against predetermined criteria or standard, and making informed judgment or decision based on the findings. The principle of evaluation promotes accountability, learning, and continuous improvement by providing evidence based insight into the value and effectiveness of something being evaluated.
The next principle is principle of continuity. Principle of continuity is a learning of different skills of teaching is continuous process and micro-teaching program. From the word continue, meaning it is a continuous process in micro-teaching program. And micro-teaching program is a teacher training technique for learning skills, so it helps the teacher to get deeper knowledge regarding at the art of learning. The pupil teacher is learning one skill at a time, and learning continues until he has mastered the skill. So the student teacher must be able to learn continuous until they master the skill. So for example, the teacher have a skills of explaining and illustrating. It doesn't mean that the teacher have that skill will stop for learning, but it will continue until he has mastered that skill. So, the idea of continuity can be seen from each ability, which can help the teacher become competent and productive.
I will be discussing to you the eighth and last principle underlying micro teaching. In micro teaching, each trainee is given training very thoroughly. There is individual attention by the supervisor, and the drawbacks in teaching are pointed out. Suggestions given one by one, and thus improvement is brought about.
The art of teaching does not merely involve a simple transfer of knowledge from one to another. Instead, it is a complex process that facilitates and influences the process of teaching. Microteaching is a teacher training techniques for learning teaching skills. It employs real teaching situation for developing skills and helps to get deeper knowledge regarding the art of teaching. These are the procedures in microteaching. Number 1. Defining the skills. A particular skills is defined to student teachers in terms of specific teaching behaviors to provide the knowledge and awareness of teaching skills. Number 2. Demonstrating the lesson. The teachers, educators can give a demonstration lesson using the particular skills. The specific skills is demonstrated by the experts or shown through videotape or film to the teacher's trainee. Next, planning the lesson. The pupil teacher then decided model on a suitable topic relating to the particular skill which he proposed to practice.
So, number 4. The pupil. Teacher the lesson to small group of pupil, probably of peer group is a small condition. Students work together in a group of typically 3 to 6 member, helping coach other think critically, master course concept, and apply them to real-world situation. Number 5. Feedback is provided immediately to the pupil teacher by audio tape or videotape recorder. Minimize student reading difficulty and thereby allow them to stay correct with class assignment and to supplement in information presented in classroom lecture.
Again, I will discuss about the involves of program of MT at number 6. The observation schedule maintained by the college supervisor and peer group. Observers can provide useful information for the feedback session, and this session, sometimes called critique session. The observation schedule maintained by both the college supervisor and peer group of observers serve as valuable data for the feedback session. This session, often referred to as a critique session, involves discussing and analyzing the observed teaching methods to provide constructive feedback. Number 7, the revised lesson is retaught a different but comparable group of pupils. saying that after making revisions based on the feedback received, the educator will teach the modified lesson to another group of students with similar characteristics. This step allows for testing the effectiveness of the adjustment made to the lesson and ensures that the improvements are applicable across different student groups.
For number 8, the lesson is again observed and observations are noted in the performs. Feedback is again provided on the reteach session. This step is called re-feedback session. For this, the teacher-educator gives constructive feedback for polishing the skills of the student-teacher. This process is going on until the student-teacher gain perfection in each skills of teaching. So for number 9, the plan, teach, feedback, replan, reteach, and re-feedback session will constitute a single micro-teaching cycle. This cycle may be repeated till adequate level of skill acquisition takes place. As we all know, micro-teaching is a teacher training technique for learning teaching skills. The 6 steps, which is the plan, teach, feedback, replan, reteach, and refeedback, has evolved as the core component in 91% of a campus teaching development programs, with a significant reduction in teaching complex with respect to number of students in class scope of contents and time frames. Most of free service teacher education program widely use micro-teaching, and it is proven method to attain gross improvement in the instructional experiences. Effective student teaching should be the frame quality of a teacher. So again, these 6 steps of micro-teaching are effective and proven that use of the student teacher to teach the student or the learners.